Welcome back to Monday Live, where I'm joined by Mr. Johnson, yes, very glad to not be doing an hour on my own.
Yes.
So yes, always nice to have.
Been involved tonight, haven't I? Yeah, exactly. It'll be a good night. Get your questions in early, and we'll work through them all, answering them all.
There is one that I'm going to do. Well, I guess touch on one thing. Viktor Hovland winning the playoff. I hope I did well. I guess I should have gone spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it yet.
Just in case.
But I've just said Viktor Hovland beat Scheffler in a playoff. Very pleased to see that.
Yeah,
nice. I don't hold anything against Scheffler, but Viktor's a good bloke.
And it could have easily gone the other way, and sort of Scheffler's had a bit of a year where he's sort of not quite been there, but he's been so good. Still,
4 seconds? 4-second place, I think, this year?
Yeah. He's still been so good, but he almost hasn't edged it across this year, as the other players have sort of just nipped him at the...
But isn't this the thing? Scheffler's having a less than good year by his standards.
Isn't it?
But he's had 4 seconds and a couple of wins.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's shown much more frustration. I think that's the bit that the game is not quite where he wants it this year. And I think we're now seeing almost that more human element to his performance.
Exactly that. I think it just shows that even the pros and even us, we've got to stay patient sometimes, haven't we? And unfortunately, it will happen. It will just need to take a bit of time with that.
And just his levels have been, inhumanly high. I mean, for anyone on tour now to have comparisons with Nicklaus and Woods, when you start looking at stats with those players in mind, you know they're having a damn good period.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so just a slight drop off, and we're all going, well, he's in the slump. But,
but actually, it's such fine margins as well. If you look at the stats, where it's funny when people get on to McIlroy about his putting all the time, where actually, if you look at his stats, they're still really, really good.
Yeah, and his putting this year's been fantastic.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
People can get harsh.
Yeah. There's one question. I'm going to go onto our calendar because I was. Apologies for not being in last week. There's a chap who emailed me because he could never come on the lives, but I'm going to read out a question that I logged.
Start with that one and see
on
what
my
I've got in
diary
store.
last week. So if I can find it, hopefully I've got it in. Tim Hawkey, right. Apologies for being off camera and reading this, but it said, wondering about wedge shafts. Have KBS Max Graphite 65 in my irons. Where do you think a good starting point for wedge shafts would be? It's difficult to do a thorough wedge fitting. So, wedge shafts, if you're at 65 or grams on irons. Now, generally speaking, I would say probably 60 to 70% of players, I would go 60 to 70, not 6, 7. Tell them I'm the children. I would say 60 to 70% of players, I would put in a slightly heavier wedge shaft.
Yeah, I think heavy is fair, and try I always find maybe change the balance point slightly with it and add a slightly different feel helps. Maybe.
Yeah, I think you use them much differently on wedges.
Yeah, it's different feel. And
once the pace comes off the swing, for me, you're kind of where someone's not accelerating as much. We don't need the club to come with you quite as much. We're just using the weight to take you down to the ball. So, hence, as Jasper said, a little bit of bounce more on the tip of the shaft, and up about 10 grams, 10, 15%, 10 grams roughly is a kind of a baseline.
Yeah, and the sets that go through the workshop, that would be the norm, wouldn't it, if you were looking at a sort of a testing situation. But you do have the opportunity to go away from that sort of the normal and jump even higher sometimes. So you could go from the graphites into jump from that 65, 70 gram all the way into like a lightweight steel, maybe like the Zealos stuff or the
maybe a KBS Tour Light.
Yeah, something like that if you want it something heavy.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's a bit of it could be like a 75 to 80 gram shaft. I mean, if you're in the KBS Max, then I was trying to think actually what the heaviest weight might be, a 75, but you might find you want to go into like a TGI and a 70 or an 80 in their wedge shaft. You might be able to go into something like the steel fibre wedge shaft where it'll swing a little more tip heavy.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, those would be.
Or then
nice.
a Zealos and a steel in the 85 gram.
If you want to keep them a bit graphite steel and separated as a
and the difficult bit is it's not a definite. So as you quite rightly say, the problem is getting to somewhere you can test those sorts of options because there aren't many places globally, really, that wedges in particular where you get those options.
Yeah, hardly nowhere, especially at that weight bracket. It's such a hard bracket to get. It's like it's fine for you can test the wedge, but not the shaft. Nowadays.
I mean, I would say is to not go too dear in terms of testing. If you're going to buy something, then a stock steel in like a 90-95 gram weight wouldn't be a bad base point. If you think standard Dunite Gold wedge shaft 130 grams.
Yeah,
that's too heavy for 90% of players. So if you can find something in that kind of lightweight steel, 85, 90, 95 grams, say KBS Tour Light in a regular wouldn't be a bad start point. That is going to be a lot better than most. But if you can get to somewhere to test a couple and they've got some options, then you can see whether the heavier graphite or the lighter steel time is better. But that would be where I'd start from.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. See what you can do. Right, first question. Free Blue CJ. Evening, fellas. Can you compare Tensei 1K White 65S and Project X Titan? New Project Titan.
Yes.
Can you compare them in the GTS to 10 degree head? What player profile would that suit as well? I'm torn between both of them. Hit both
quite
well.
Different
thanks.
profiles.
Yeah, I'd say they're a bit of a different, different feels, aren't they? Absolutely.
Yeah, the Titan's got a noticeably, it's designed with a stiff grip end, butt section, which actually, for me, I've got to go next door to get the Titan shelf, but for me, that kicks the ball up.
Yeah.
Whereas in theory, that should knock it down, but for me, I find I flight it a little bit more. But whereas the Tensei White is a little less grip end stiff, but is more tip end stiff. So
yeah, definitely more tip end stiff. The Tensei stuff, I thought they've done well with giving it. It's stiff in the tip, but that still has a bit of like a feel throughout. Rather than Titan is like you've got to be quite aggressive into it, possibly a little bit more so.
Yeah, I think that's probably my only criticism of the Tensei line is Tensei and Diamana are just too similar. I'd like to see them separated off a bit more, but I might have an inkling of what they're doing in the future there. I'm just going to grab the Titan from the wall next door.
Absolutely. We'll go on to our next question while Simon's getting that. Hi gents, I love the show this each week. What are the differences you have seen between M15 and T250 irons? So M15 is generally a little bit more rounded on the top edge, I'd find, and must be a little bit more. I found the ball speed is a little faster off the M15 personally, and a little smaller with the top line, and just smaller in shape in general. Got more rounded edges.
Don't know what the question is.
Oh, M15. That was M15 Mizuno iron versus T250. The differences I've been finding.
I think M15 launches lower. I think that I've been actually quite surprised how strong a flight relative to where I thought it might be. It's actually a head that I used to bring the flight down versus other models, but it's a much softer sound and feel. Way nicer feel.
That T250, even though it's a lovely compact style, it would be nice if it just dulled down or felt a little softer on the feel. It's quite firm feeling, and customers do notice that even in the bay, it's comes off quite clicky as such.
Yeah, I think T250 might be a hair more forgiving, but a hair. But I think we've had a lot of players enjoy the feel of the
that Mizuno. Yeah, you can't. It's tough in that category. Right.
I haven't swung a club for 2 and a bit weeks, so this will be interesting. That and we did some cricket on Friday night.
Yeah,
and I'm a bit
a few
stiff.
beers and a few bowls.
It was, yes. There are a few of us who, from Friday night to now, only now are starting to feel human again.
Yeah, poor Will in the workshop, even though he goes to the gym, he's not in a good way still.
Different muscles usually. Yeah, so interesting. You're picking the Titan up again. You can definitely feel that handle rigidity.
Yeah, firm.
God, my shoulders aren't particularly moving. I'll take it. But
Not bad.
So yeah, so it's it's a very stable feel, the Titan. I was going to say, I always think it sounds like sounds like something you might use on a Saturday night. But they've done with the materials in it. It's a kind of it's not a harsh feel, but it's a very stable feel, crisp feel. But it's not got some shafts when they go more rigid, they go quite tinny. They produce quite a harsh sound.
Made the yellow version of the Titan in the driver.
Okay. Which will be a little higher
for
balance.
him. Yeah, but he's quite that bottom section. He's sort of quite smooth from the top, and then he's like
he's a strong boy.
He does not.
He's one who someone I know. Or someone I had in the bay, what are we today? Monday, it must have been last week, played with him just by chance, played with him somewhere. And he said, you don't appreciate how, like pound for pound and kind of relative to scale, how strong
broad,
he was.
It's big guy, isn't he? Broad
moves
across.
Very, very fast. Just hasn't quite won over the New York crowds.
Yeah. A naughty boy at some events, I guess.
So yeah, much more give through that midsection. Definitely feel a little bit more loading of this shaft versus Titan. Let's see. Yeah, definitely more load and give through that.
Yeah, you can see it, can't you?
There's a bit more in the bottom half to kind of use the Titan. It's not counterbalanced, but it's slightly higher balance. But you can feel a little bit of load and go out of
Definitely looks like you don't have to pull into it as hard. You just let it sort of fly
I think
around
dead weight, the Titan sits a little bit heavier. This is more like 62 grams. Titan's, I think, more like 66 odd, I think. Yeah, there's a bit more of the bottom end to hit against with this. It's the bottom end that holds on. So I can then use that to hit against in time, whereas I lose the bottom end a little bit on the Titan. But it's a much more stout feel at the top end of the Titan. So, yeah, if you're wanting something to feel a little tighter, a little crisper, a bit more to hit against, handle stiff, then go down the Titan route. If a little lighter dead weight, but more balanced in the club head end, slightly smoother feel probably out the Tensei, but both very stable shafts, both very good quality.
Yeah, again, interesting one. Again, check out the numbers and see how they're stacked up with what you tested when you did test them. See what the numbers are saying as well. If there's not really much of a feel difference between them.
I think you'll find one's going to produce a tighter dispersion for you. They're quite different to swing, those two.
Right. M15 2-1. No, done that. Tractor Boy Dave back again.
New manager now.
Yeah, he's in. We're in a hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Evening, chaps. Love the show. I'm looking for a comparable shaft to my Acra I series for driver and 5-wood. Suggestions, please.
Okay, so I series. I guess if you've got I series in your irons, they do an I series wood shaft. But if you've got I series in the wood and you want a comparable to that, the I series is slightly higher balance, softer tip. So. Depending on how high balance you wanted to go, VA Composites, the Nemesis is probably a little bit more counterbalanced, but you do get that kick out the tip. The upper mid.
The B, you got, what's the DM? You could go DMR and BB if you want the mids section, possibly.
Yeah, a little more, much more stout feel that in the tip.
Yeah.
I would say. If I was trying to go upper mid.
Could keep with the Acra stuff and go GX maybe if again hits a really nice price point.
Yeah, I think GX there again pretty neutral. They're going to swing a little more bottom half heavy than the I series. They've got the Shogun. Depending on what weight you're wanting to play into, the Shogun in the blue. If you're looking for a lightweight, that definitely gives you that higher. That's another Acra shaft, higher balance point, not counterbalance but upper mid. Lighter and more responsive, so really kind of good grade materials. It'll feel kicky, but stable at impact. Whereas I think, or I'll tell you what, actually one would be, if you're looking for stable with that balance point, there's one of the Deramaxes, the 07D.
Yeah.
Which gives you that upper mid balance point that's going to play a little tighter. Really good grade material. So there are depends what budget you're looking at, and how much feel and kick you want from the shaft.
Yeah, obviously it's going to change, especially when you get to drivers. It's going to change slight dynamics of golf swing as well. So then it will sway on what you do with that method, won't it? Because you're working more of an upward pattern.
Yeah.
With the driver, and especially in 5 wood again, it's going to get more even to more. Your irons are going to be more downwards into
delivery,
delivery stuff. Yeah.
Slalom dude.
Slalom dude 68, evening gentlemen. What shaft would be recommended for a driving iron for off the tee use? Links course, have Acra 125 green in T100s.
Ooh, so if you're in 125 greens, they're pretty.
So he's added in 7-iron swing speed 95 to 98 miles per hour.
So if you're in Acra greens, they're a stable, sturdy shaft.
Yeah, especially at that weight.
A bit of weight out's probably a good way to go, but you're not going to want to go too light in that. It might actually be that something around the 110, 115 mark, you're still taking 10, 15 grams out.
Like VF in the 105X.
It might just be heavy enough.
Just about. If you
possibly that Nippon Ghost
is
a potential one as well. That's that 105, 110.
It's quite a cool shaft as well. You don't really see it much, do you? That Nippon Ghost. But
Yeah,
it's like
I'm going to
a
grab it.
steel
Stands for
shaft.
graphite on steel.
It's like a steel
this
shaft in a steel shaft, but it's
I've
like
got it next door. I'll get it if I go
powder.
searching something.
Like powder coated with like a graphite layering system like around it.
I've got it next door.
It's cool, but it adds a really stable bed.
Those are the ones that Scottie Scheffler's using.
Yeah.
But I think, I want to keep a bit of bounce in the bottom end, which both with those shafts, the VF and that do. But you really want, I think with your speed, that kind of 105 to 110, the composites give you a lot of stability at that weight.
Exactly, that's keeping the weight as well, isn't
But
it?
I don't think I want to go lighter than that because there's a strong move there. So if the Acra greens are working well, then don't drop much below 105, 110.
We've got Paul M. 2885, evening gents. Any recommendations to bring flight down on my driver, please? Playing a G430 10K, 10.5 with Tensei Orange AV.
Lower loft.
Love the drive.
That is.
Yeah, love the driver just after a slightly flatter flight.
Get a 9-degree head. That's and no flippancy there at all. That is your number one metric or lever to bring flight down is loft. So, I mean, you could put your 10.5 in its minimum loft setting, but you've probably already done that. Going into something like a 440 LST, depending on how much stability you've got. But if you're liking the 430 10K, then grab a 430 10K 9-degree.
Especially as it's that 10K model, if you go whack it down in that settings, it's going to just open it up with the face angle as well, isn't it? So you might harm yourself a little bit with that.
But I mean, in terms of the things that are going to affect flight, launch angle and spin the most, ignoring swing dynamics, because obviously that is the one of the big ones, but loft and, the 430 10K is not that spinny. So, loft is your number one lever for that, but it does mean another head. But it will bring the flight down. Without changing anything else, as long as you keep the head weight the same and put it in the same setting, you're going to drop 1.5 degrees in loft. You're going to drop potentially 600-700 revs of spin, and you're going to drop 1 degree or so of launch angle. So
you hit the nail on the head. Yeah.
Keep going towards the 6s and 7s inadvertently. So I got the eyeballs from over the screens over
there. We've got Noel_1988. Evening gents, just wondering what would be a shaft comparable to a Tour AD Di6S, currently on a budget. No.
Okay. Well, one that performed incredibly similarly when I tested it, and it's a bit less dear, the Isawa Gold was a very similar performance, but it's probably not quite the budget end of things. Di, Was it a 6?
6, yeah.
So
6 stiff.
66 grams, bit of kick in the middle, stable tip.
GX green, maybe, in the sort of little height.
Little lighter, maybe lose the tip section a little bit. I mean, Vista Pro 65. Fujikura Vista Pro 65.
Yes,
you could tip it up a little bit extra, but in terms of dead weight, it's very similar. Balance point, it's pretty similar. And that one, yeah, I would hang my hat on that one. Just tip it an extra inch, chip it an inch.
Yeah,
but,
and then it's hit such a good value for money point.
And that's probably one of the best value for money shafts out there.
Absolutely. Let's have a little look. ZB_Rogan YouTube. What are your key swing principles? But curious what you'd advise people.
Non-tech. There's balance is the most critical thing for repeating golf swing. So you have to stand closer to me. Just intimidation factor. I think the thing that from players that move the club well, being balanced, being grounded, but that allows you to move the club around you. I think a lot of players, for me, get hands and arms do a bit too much. If you can make a nice, get the fundamentals right and stay balanced, you're then moving the club around you. So now I'm going to show you how not to do it, but it's really all about being able to put the club consistently on the back of the ball. Now, if you take bad posture, if you've got kind of straight legs, you've got no way of kind of controlling your mass through the ball. We want to be in that nice kind of stable, a bit like if you were waiting for someone to throw you a ball, you're going to be like that. We want to stay nicely on our feet, and if you can keep nice angles, then essentially you can move the club around you. If I'm here, then everything's like arm plane, the club
from
plane.
From that position also,
disconnected.
you can't turn yourself through it quick enough to get everything synced back at the ball, square and out the way.
Yeah.
You see a lot, don't you, where people are like, the core and the hips aren't clearing quick enough out the way.
Absolutely.
And they don't create any
And if you're
space
off, if you're on your heels, if you're too far onto your toes, then you can't use your legs. And legs this bit is a huge source of power. So if I stand bolt upright and try and put some power into the swing, it's nothing. It's all arms. Whereas what's club speed there? So I'm not trying to hit that slowly, 74 miles an hour, but that's just me kind of throwing my arms at it. The moment you get balanced here, it's a bit like a baseball move from there. You're using your core and your big muscle groups. And then from that position, then I'm able to make a much more efficient, I'll just thin that, but a much more efficient move through the ball, 83. And it's a miss, but it's a straight miss.
It's just different, isn't it?
So fundamentals are the single most important thing, because if those are off, then every movement off there is going to go off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I always find that the customers we see on a day-to-day basis as well is almost the coach you're working with. Try get them more to work with you and understand the way your body moves through like impact, and that could indicate of like what shot you want to hit out there and how your body reacts to that shot. So if, for example, if your body works down and across, if they're trying to get you to don't hit a big loopy draw, if that makes sense to that.
Yeah, you might be more rotational
work.
or more kind of naturally across versus some players are a little bit more naturally underneath.
Yeah, and I think learning what shot window and what shot flight you should be playing on golf course is really crucial for you guys at home, but also for us in a fit of like what shot are you working on and what shot do you want to see. You see a lot of people that come in, they're like almost just hitting it down the line, but actually it could be, it can bring in a two-way miss with that.
I think it's listening to, we've all got dominant muscle groups, we've all got natural patterns, and unless you're going to be working week in, week out with a coach to change them, then actually work with those patterns. You might have muscle stiffness, you might have restricted mobility, And that's something you cannot ignore with the golf swing. We're trying to put our body through a lot of rotation. To create an orthodox move requires a lot of physical ability and freedom. So if you do have a tight back, then you're not going to get into that cleared position with that square shoulders and hips cleared, because you're going to tighten up, so everything's going to come around with you. So I think being conscious of what your physical state is, fundamentals, and actually just sort of play with what your body wants to do. Don't fight it. But yeah, so for me, fundamentals are the biggest.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope that actually answered the question the way you wanted it to, but yeah.
If not, drop another question, we'll go again. Martin Williams, 4759. Hi, could you please hit the G4 47 wood against the Titleist GTS 37 wood? 440 GTS 37 wood. Let's go to the next question, and then we will go from there. At Philly Central, great show, guys. I've been guilty of trusting the transition. My current irons are KBS stiff 120 gram. Guessing that's the tour version, which in theory I've been told will slow me down, but I feel they get stuck behind me. So would a lightweight shaft help me swing it easier, faster to match my transition? So KBS 120 tour, getting stuck behind.
Okay, yeah.
Would a slightly lighter weight, slightly different balance point shaft be able to get more in front of him?
In principle, lighter weight, yes. It's not a... KBS is a very neutrally balanced shaft. So the balance point may not be the answer, but the dead weight, 120 grams you've got in steel, another 30 odd grams you can go. A lighter shaft in principle should help the club come with you and get the handle out in front of you a little bit more. And then you can potentially, for me, you can then potentially use balance point to time the head arriving. But there's still quite a lot of shafts lighter than that you can go, which should help.
Yeah, guilty for Russian transition as well. You might, it might be rushing at the bottom and you can't quite manage to get that weight through, it sounds like. So yeah, it's going to get a little stuck and a little...
And actually the transition could be rushed because it's heavy. That you've got to kind of snatch at it a little bit. It might feel a little rushed because of that.
I had a chap the other night who's has lessons with Lewis upstairs. Also, was doing a fantastic job, but because he's had these C-taper 120s or 115 C-tapers, fairly stiff, rigid, and they're just going really inside. And as soon as we started testing slightly lighter, he went slightly different balance as well for his age bracket as well. Slowly throughout the session, it was quite interesting. He started getting a little bit more edged over and a little bit more neutral with the path. Yeah. And again, that's where it's going to make you guys play better golf, but also the coach upstairs a little bit easier. Yeah,
get a low point to the ball rather than playing dropping under. Yeah, you can start to get the ball turf contact by doing that as well.
Right. See it.
447 wood. It's interesting to pick GTS 3 to go with this, rather than the 2.
It's quite powerful, that 3, isn't it?
I think it depends. Well, I think it depends on your face angle, which we'll come on to in a moment. Yeah, so 447 wood, and you're very good at flighting it up. You're really, if you're more of a picker, 440s are great. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead on that one.
That's nice.
You can collect the ball easily off the turf, kicks it up in the air. Not that spinny, I don't think, the 440s. I think there's good launch off them, but they're not particularly spinny head. But very good for someone who's shallower through the ball. Like that one, angle of attack, 0.0. I think the GTS 3, relative to where I think Titleist could have gone with it, I don't think it's low spin enough. In contrast to the GTS 2.
It's sitting too close to the 2, isn't it?
I think that would be my only critique of the fairways is, okay, the brushed face has been popular but divides opinion a little bit.
Yeah, it's quite a lot, but it feels rapid off the face.
Yeah.
It's
got a nice
really,
sound
really
to it.
quick.
But I think I found if you're a closer of the face, they're quite strong on spin. If you're an opener of the face, they kick it up a heck of a lot. So, but yeah, I think GTS3, previous 3 series have been stronger for flight. I'm not sure there's enough spin separation. But anyway, you can see a lot of the face with the brushed face, that's for sure. So a little less launch than the ping, but very similar for spin. So launch angle, that's where the pings are particularly good at kicking it up in the air. But it's very much a mid-launch, mid-spin head. Slightly more suited to someone who squeezes it a little bit more from get the feeling of solidity out the stride.
The
ping really suits a picker.
They almost need like a 4, like a GTS 4 in a fairway, in like a 15 and a 13 and a half type thing, don't they?
I think,
just like the top end ones. Don't go Mark Wild, but just for like the like a 2 or 2 and a 3. But they are bringing they've got the new mini driver coming, haven't they?
Yeah, there's an update to the GT280, which is coming August time.
Yeah, in that sort of like second phase type, or slightly later phase. But it's going to go. You'll be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but it's going to go slightly more longer in shape and a slightly bigger profile than the 280.
280 going to 300cc, allegedly.
Nice, a little bit shallow as well.
I don't think we're allowed to officially talk about tech yet, but it's not changing too much from the 280.
Let's have a look. Kev T at 6784. Really enjoyed the shaft video you did, Simon. What, in your opinion, is the most important, the driver head or the shaft, or that depending on handicap?
I would not handicap dependent. I think I'm gonna answer it in a way that
there's a lot.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on right now.
But actually, so for consistency of delivery and dispersion, it is shaft. For trajectory and spin consistency, it is head. So you get the wrong head style or the wrong loft, then you're fighting ball flight. Too low, and you're going to have to sit behind it to try and flight it. Too high, and you're going to see players getting down, trying to hit down to try and keep flight down. So if you get the head style wrong, you're either forgiveness is in the wrong window. It might not manage your miss strike point wise too well. But if you get the wrong style or loft, then your spin and launch profiles can be off, which is horrid. But if you get, from a shaft point of view, shaft isn't going to make massive differences in terms of profile and flex on its own for the vertical dispersion, but it can make a massive difference for left-right dispersion in terms of how you can deliver the club. So shaft for that, and head for that.
Yeah, it's still working in a 2-part system, isn't it? It's still a double system.
Both are important.
Both are really important. And you've got to think, like, the guys on tour, even though they might keep the same shaft, they won't just they're not just putting a standard head on that. They'll probably dial it in completely and then play for a couple of weeks, dial it in again. Yeah. I think there was a video of the TaylorMade guys and Wyndham Clark actually just before he won. So he started playing really well this season with the new QI4D, and they dialed it in, and they were always trying to tweak it even more and even more. So even though these guys might be in a similar shaft, they're edging. They're
still fine tunes, just how the different heads react to strike point, gearing, spins. They want to see a particular shot and window, but ultimately from a fitting, whether it's doesn't matter what your handicap or speed, you're still using the components for the same reasons. You just might you might prioritize forgiveness for one player and spin control for another, but it's fine tuned.
Double system has to be. Let's have a look. Nick /KSO. Any idea when we can expect the new Mizuno JPX iron release?
They normally, Mizuno, I think now work to a January release. Where it was the MP, the Pro range this January, it'll be I'd expect JPX next January. So there's always a launch, but they're all on 2-year cycles. That would be the way I'd expect it.
Because they do it in a nice way, don't they? Where they space it in nice.
Yeah,
spaces.
like Ping will do Woods 1 year, Irons the next. And that's what TaylorMade are going to the same model, where they're going to do Woods and the core model, like the more forgiving model, Irons 1 year, and then the P Series irons on the interim year. So again, there's always going to be a product launch, but it'll be one part of the range 1 year and the other part of the range the other year.
That's nice. They're not rushing with stuff, which is good. Kevin Phillips 3350. Have you noticed any grip size issues with the Tensai 1K orange? Having a larger butt size.
Yeah, it is a 610, 615 butt. So part of the counterbalancing, I guess they use more material in the butt section, but also to get the grip end stiffness, it goes a little bit wider, the outer diameter. So yeah, you just can't get an undersized sizing on it, or a standard grip on there is a bit like 2, maybe even 3 layers sometimes. So yeah, you do have to layer tape differently on every shaft. Like a true temper iron shaft, they narrow quicker. You've got to layer the bottom hand up a little bit more. So, but we are seeing a few more graphites where there are 610, 615 outer diameter now. So to get that hoop strength, they're going a little bit wider in the butt section a lot.
Absolutely. Just had John just go to your nearest trusted builder, and he'll be able to sort of work through his matrix of building those clubs to a perfect manner as well. And if he does need to add those tapes, as a tape, he will do that too.
Or potentially even stretch the grip a little bit.
Yeah,
just
stuff
try
like
and thin
that.
it out slightly. Yeah, if you need it on the smaller end of things, then yeah, it can be a little bit of a challenge.
Kevin Phillips 3350. Have you noticed any
Repetition in questions.
repetition? Let's go again. We've got Andrew Evans 3809. Hi gents, in theory, what shaft would better suit a 102 club speed, shorter driver swing with aggressive transition, even flow Riptide 6.0, or hazardous smoke black RDX?
Which colour Riptide? Doesn't say. Okay. I mean, the Smoke RDX is a slightly higher balanced shaft compared to the Riptides. The Riptides were generally going to be a little more lower half. The blue in particular swung more bottom end heavy. The Hazardous have always been fairly stout.
Yeah.
Similar to the times in that kind of upper midsection.
But still maintains that bottom section being quite stout as well, aren't they?
I would probably, and this is a probably, I would probably to that. And if you've got a shorter swing length, then pull against it hard, then the danger if you get too bottom end heavy is that clubhead gets out of sync. So that's where I would probably to the Smoke RDX.
Yeah, I think especially as he's put the short driver swing and being quite aggressive in that bottom section.
Yeah. If that club doesn't come
helps.
with you, you've got no time to save it. Yeah. So that would normally lend itself to a slightly higher balance point. Not necessarily counterbalance, but just not tip heavy.
You've got at Nicholas Karna 4276. I'm not necessarily fast, 88 miles per hour on a 7-iron swing.
That's no slouch. Take that.
I was going to say, I thought that was quite good. That's quite quick.
Yeah, we're getting slow though. So,
but I can't say you get the better results from a 125 to 130 gram shaft rather than the 105 to 110. People tell me I should be in. I scoop the light.
Scoop the light shaft.
Okay.
Because you use the weight, and that's really the thing. This whole kind of you should be in is just a case of you just should be in what works. So if the club gets a little light, then as you start down, if you have more of a kind of a pull, more of an arms, a kind of a hit with the hands, if it gets light, then all that's going to happen is, as you say, you're going to flip the clubhead at it and flick through the ball. So if you're someone who kind of has that more of that pull on the handle, that's where the weight's useful. You're then using the weight to, as you pull the handle in, it's creating a drop in, and there's more to hit against. It creates more of a late hit, so it helps you get into more of a covered stronger impact positions.
Yeah,
So,
especially if you add dynamic loft to impact quite high, isn't it? I guess it's getting you on top of it.
yeah, I mean, it was 87, 88 on a 7-iron. That's not slow. Yeah,
No,
that's far
quick.
from slow. Yeah, I think the should bit with shafts is very much theory, and theory is just that, it's theory. So you can prove and disprove it by testing it, but if the heavier shafts consistently work for you, then stick with them.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's one of those. It's even though you might play with the same group, and everyone's like, oh, try this, try that. Everyone's a fingerprint still, aren't they? In this world, you never know what you're going to come in. Everyone that comes in, they might think they're in that sort of avenue, or think they go for that head, but actually they might be far better in a slightly different different shaft pattern.
Yeah, I think the evidence of the consistency of performance, that's the bit that you latch onto because it's repeated. It's not just a unicorn, or that shot was great, but the next one's horrid. If it's stable and consistent, then you're definitely in the right kind of place.
Nice. You got Nick at Nick/KSO again. Can you hit the Ping 440 2 hybrid and 3 wood at your normal speed and compare?
Right,
So
the 3 wood and the 2 hybrid.
2 hybrid and 3 wood.
Okay.
Your normal stock
I don't
number.
think I can get my normal speed today. I don't think it's physically achievable.
Step on it a little bit. See what we can do. We have got at Peter McIntosh 1539. Hi guys, great live videos as always. Do different types of shafts in driver change the way you set up your tee height? Yes, absolutely. It's going to change, but also the way the shaft changes from shaft to shaft, it will change strike point up and down. But also, and so yes, you might have to change tee height with that because you're.
I was trying to work out what I was doing here. I missed the question.
Oh, no, that's all right. So the question was, do different types of shafts in a driver change the way you set up your tee height?
I guess if I heard what you were saying right, then if they're inevitably going to change your delivery a little bit, then yeah, tee height should a little bit.
Yeah.
I would say.
Wouldn't say it would move it extreme, but yeah, you might go up or down depending on the delivery pattern because yeah, you might change it. It might help
Just
you
a
hit
little.
lot
It should
more
change it
up.
a little bit, I
Yeah,
guess. Yeah,
absolutely.
getting there.
It's the 2 hybrid.
Nearly there. Got to
Nearly
switch into
there.
the two head. Yeah, the Ping hybrids are pretty strong actually. So
Quick, aren't they?
I think this is going to be quite a low spin. Will be a low spin hybrid, that's for sure. Just getting a set of swings.
Right, let's do one other. We've got
Nearly there,
ZB_Rogan YouTube. Again, oh, that's a nice question. Good question.
He's
Who are you-
already approved of before he's even
Just
read
nice,
it out.
just something a bit different. That's good. Who are your favourite golfers in a major? Whose score do you look up first?
That is it. So I would say we'll do both men and women.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Women's majors, Charlie, straight away.
Yeah.
I'd go to her score first, or Charlie or Lottie. Partly Lottie we've worked with, Charlie we know, but I think Charlie just because being a Brit, I'm rooting for her to get over the line in one. I think that's who I'm looking for first, see where is she at.
Yeah.
And then depending where she's at, then where's Nelly relation to that. They're the two that I would look at.
It's nice to
straight away.
see Charlie do well because she's Kate in the gym, helps her out on quite regularly, and they're really good friends. And sort of obviously Kate works hard with her, getting her to a good place before tournament and pre and during tournament as well, for like getting her fit up to scratch, which is always good.
Guys and the men's too. Would I look at? Favourite
Adam
golfer?
Scott.
Oh,
It's one of my classic. That's my idol. I'd say.
even still now, you go looking for.
I just like the fact that like he's got that obviously
not saying you
100.
shouldn't, it's
No,
just more
no.
interest, yeah.
I just like his
Yeah, it's accurate,
attributes, his golf swing for us.
Beautiful, isn't it?
He
Yeah.
always he tinkers around a little bit with clubs, a little bit, sort of swapping. Is a mixed bag of stuff, which obviously is quite cool for us to see. But just hit the 100th major as well. It's
When you think how
just a
far away
good
Jack
guy.
Nicklaus is from that, it's
Yeah.
100th major in a row, very impressive. Person whose score I look for first in a major is Rory.
Yeah, true.
Favourite golfer out there? Interesting one. I don't know who my favourite golfer is out there at the moment.
Good question,
Probably,
isn't it?
it probably is him, actually. The one I'm rooting for most in the major now, Fleetwood.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get him across the line, wouldn't it?
Favourite player? Shooting McGavin. Favourite is a really interesting one. I think the thing now is there aren't the characters in the game the way they used to be. Like historically, growing up, Fowler was my idol growing up, but Seve would be the one I'd want to go and watch. I think
it's different, isn't it?
Rory probably falls into that because you know he's going to produce something during the round that you're going to go wow to, but he could also produce something you're going to go wow to as well.
He can put you under watching him. It's quite stressful sometimes,
watching.
isn't it? It's like,
but there's always something going on.
What have you done that for?
So yeah, I probably would say that. Actually.
Yeah, there's a few. There's different people.
It's very
isn't
interesting.
there?
It's a good question, that though.
Yeah, really good question. It's a guy. Yeah. All good.
So
yeah. So what were we saying? Charlie Holsh is a little bit different on tour. She just does her own thing.
Stuff. Exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, her interviews are quite like. She loves being like just behind and just going for it all out and just going straight at pins.
There's no reverse gear, is there?
No, there's nothing.
Just go for it.
Zero. Yeah. Right. Let's hit this 2 hybrid.
2 hybrid. It's interesting. 17-degree hybrid. I've done a few of these this year actually, versus the 15-degree fairway. So the ping hybrids are pretty strong for spin. They come out. I've been
quite surprised
with these when they launched at how powerful they are. They pick the ball up really easily. So whilst that's a strong launch, it's because it's a low loft. I caught that a little low on the face. But ball speed, efficiency, very good.
Still
see if I can get that up the face a little bit. That's a bit of contact.
That's nice, isn't it?
So, yeah.
Wow, look at that spin. Like,
so spin rate comes right down to, I mean, that's 3-wood spin, ultimately. You look at that and think that was potentially for the spin, even the launch, a 3-wood, but that's got it's got a lot of giddy up to
yes,
that.
the powerful 3/2 hybrid isn't dead yet, isn't dead, is it? If you play somewhere which is quite tight and fiddly, if you've got something which can, it's going to be low in spin and can chase you, be a bit more chasey, that's where it's understanding what golf course someone is playing, isn't it? Big time with that type of club.
The one thing that does is shorter. So for some players, that shorter length, you can still keep a relative 3-wood flight out of that. But the shorter length helps you find strike and control it, the left-right dispersion. Then that's, or if you're very spinny. But that's where I've tended to use it. But we should be able to get more club speed out of this, which is then where the principle of potential distance comes into it. So ball speed's up.
Yeah, 102.5.
So spin to loft is up a little bit, but we've got, it's interesting actually, total's not a million miles off. Well, that one's only 6 yards longer, but it's carried 16 yards longer. So, because it's spun a little bit more, it's not run out that bit extra, it's made a little bit heel side. What was the shot before was club speed difference? About 6 miles an hour? Yeah, about 6 miles an hour.
95, so, 96, 96, 92.
So 7 or 8 mile an hour ball speed difference, but it allows me to get a little more height, a bit more carry. A little low on the face, but yeah, ball speed up. Yeah, it's just a little heely, so it's just spun a little bit more. But you'd go into what you look for from the fairwood is getting more carry out of it. You're going to get more ball speed. relative to Loft, it'll pick it up a little bit more. But the hybrid can, as you see from those, can bring the spin down significantly at that Loft, particularly the thing one. So yeah, it's quite an interesting comparison depending on what shot you're using it for. If it's just a chaser and a short tight course, the low Loft hybrid could be good.
That shorter shaft formation as well is only going to work for some players and be better and sort of not get out of sync, I guess, is it? Right, let's whittle through a few of these.
You might just find the low Loft hybrid a bit one-dimensional flight-wise, though. It kind of wants to only come out that way. That's the only balance up of it.
Hi guys, I found a Diamana Blue Series Generation 3 uncut. Have you guys tried this back in the day? I believe it came out in 2013. Wanted to know your thoughts.
Look, Diamana Blue's always been a great shaft, based on very, very consistent bend profile, very smooth bend profile, stable buck section, stable tip section, and then just a really gradual progression through the shaft. So any Diamana is going to be a good quality shaft.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good quality materials.
I did chat, I think, with one of the colleagues the other day that there's still a few guys on tour which are using sort of old shafts, and I said to him, shafts don't go out of date.
No.
The shaft will always be a shaft. It's not going to deteriorate generally unless it's a steel and rust inside the core.
Yeah.
So even the older stuff, you'll see a few guys on tour, they'll have a few old ones still tucked in there. A few of their favourites, which they might have 1, 2, even 3 or 4 in the garage just as a backup.
Hendrik Stenson with his graphite blue is a perfect example, But ultimately, it's what changes is the materials that they use change, and they might be able to get a bit more feel from a certain profile, or they might be able to make it slightly more, I guess, versatile from how they can create the structures from zonal different stiffness profiles through the shaft, control torque a little bit more.
Yeah, it's that consistency, the weave. They might find a slightly different weave works on the robot testing more efficiently.
But first gen blue was a great shaft.
Yeah,
so third gen blue is still a great shaft, as long as it works for you. Yeah.
Right. A Feeble. My Mizuno Swing DNA suggested the KBS C Taper 130X. From what I understand, the shaft optimizer will only suggest shafts that Mizuno offer.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's the best shaft for me.
So on an iron, I've just seen the follow-up, 104 club speed. You got some speed.
Yeah, 104 club speed. Okay.
I mean, honest answer is at that kind of speed, there is a chance that is the best shaft for you. We don't do many of them, but if you've got that much speed and strength, there is a chance that's a really good option for you.
As you say, if it comes back to that shaft optimizer only spitting out a couple of those options, and that swing speed and that weight is obviously going to push it quite high. They may only have 2 in their matrix, possibly, that's going to cater for you. So it would be quite nice to maybe try some other brands and slightly different balance points of that weight and flex.
Yeah, I mean, you can generate speed a couple of ways, can't you? You can either generate it through kind of a crack of the whip and a snap from a rotation point of view, or kind of physical brute strength and real kind of pull on the handle. So if you're more of the first one, more of a kind of a snap, then the 130s can get a little out of sync and be a little hard work. But if you're someone who has more of a kind of pull, strong upper body and pull down on the club, then that could well be a very good option. It's certainly with those sorts of numbers, then quite possibly, yes. But hard to be definite. But as Jasper said, they're going to be a Dynamic Gold X100 and a C-Taper 130X, maybe a Project X65 at that kind of swing speed and swing strength that they're going to have in their matrix. And there are a few others, but not going to be a million miles off, I don't think.
No. You got at Matthew Hunt 5462. Do they do a GTS 2 hybrid looking to replace my Sim 2 3 hybrid?
No, GTS our fairways and drivers at the moment, hybrid's still GT. So the hybrids haven't changed. So, but they, in the GT2, they do an 18 degree that you can loft down one to like 17.5. But they don't do a kind of base loft of 16, 17 in that.
Yeah, not of yet. Could you hit one, please? So we don't obviously don't have it, unfortunately. But if we do,
if they do one,
absolutely, we'll jump on and
jump on, ask the question, and we'll definitely hit it.
Pro V1 Dave, changing grip size from standard Golf Pride +4 to my preferred grip Ping Aqua. How does that change the club setup?
The Aqua's undersized.
So
that's going to be a little bit lighter.
Weight is definitely going to change.
That's going to be the main thing. You're removing weight from the handle end, so you're making the club swing heavier by making the handle lighter. So it's going to feel a little bit more bottom end heavy.
Swing weight is definitely going to
But you're not taking dead weight up. So it's not going to take more effort to swing, but you might find you've got to work the club head through a little bit more.
Yeah, it's going to push the swing weight up.
Yeah. I mean, swing weight-wise, swing stick where the Aquas are, it might only go up a point or so, though.
Yeah.
Because if it's a standard +4 it's a sort of 54 gram grip. So yeah, might 6 7 grams maybe, 5 6 grams. So swing weight point and a bit. So, but yeah, you will definitely feel the head more. Yeah. Right.
All good.
Got through them all.
Nice. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, chaps.
Right. 6:58.
Nice.
No, anything you'd like to add to this week's proceedings?
What do we have?
Anything you've been noticing in the Bay, particularly recently?
What have I been noticing?
Anything?
We've got
anything
new. Shaft-wise, we've got the new Autoflex.
Oh yeah,
shafts.
the KHTs. Yeah.
KHT stuff.
Yeah.
That's been introduced.
They're little heavier, a little more solid feeling. Yeah.
Different.
Yeah. So the line cues have been interesting. I've not done too many yet, but they've been quite nice from a feel point of view. Maintaining feel, they're good quality shafts. Hybrid's been really nice actually.
We've now started to do a batch of artisan wedges.
Yeah.
So they've some sets of those coming in, which is quite cool.
You can customise those as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah, quite good. Gives you almost like an A4 customised sheet where you can almost go all out and go crazy if you really want to and go deep.
Yeah, there is quite a lot you can do on those. Yeah.
And there's a lot of it is actually included, isn't it? Which is quite a nice touch from them.
Yeah. I think what's impressive with
niche.
them is how they keep, like, whatever you do with that wedge, whether it's a grind, whether it's a head weight, whether it's a customization, they log it on file so they can reproduce exactly anything that they've done. I think that's very, very high detail.
Cool. You almost have your own personal serial code tucked away in their files, which is big. Yeah, it's quite cool. Almost like your own tour player or your own tour truck.
They do it exactly the same as they would for a tour player. Yeah.
What about yourself? Are you finding any sort of anything shooting out? Anything good? Anything bad?
I think with the GTSs, I'm doing probably more 2s weight forward. I think that's been quite nice to keep the stability of the 2 series.
Yeah.
But with the weight forward to keep the spin down. So actually, chap had just before this came live, load of speed, didn't need a lot of loft, but having the 8 degree in the 2 that I could stick the weight forward meant we kept margin of error, kept spin down, flight down. That's been a nice addition. I've definitely utilised that quite a bit, I would say. Otherwise, nothing stand out. Those Duramaxes have done well. Almost, you could argue almost too well. They've got a couple of. There's been a couple of SKUs that there is a bit of a stock issue on. But actually, it's been interesting how noticeable people have been finding the feel of those. More feel with the stability has been very good.
I think because I had someone the other day who wanted the new McLaren, or he asked how are you getting on with the new McLaren stuff. Because we're so, and it's like with the shafts, with the heads, because we're so data driven, and you're trying to pinpoint exactly what's perfect or better numbers wise for that player. And same when you work in the workshop also, you see such an array of different shafts, different heads. It's quite nice that way, rather than sometimes when you go to like your local pro shop or your local drive range, they may be an ambassador of a company. And generally you might learn that guy comes out with that brand. So we don't really see full trends cycling, do we? Which is nice.
No, it's actually something that we look
big
when
variety.
we're assessing everyone's performance. We actually look for trends to see if there's anything that habitual that's creeping in there.
Yeah.
But you say with the McLarens, they've been the performance is good. The feel's very nice. They are performing. It's just very hard to reinvent the wheel. So are they going to be revolutionary from a performance point of view? No, but are they performing? Yeah, they've been performing.
Absolutely.
Solid.
Yeah, they feel absolutely lovely off the face as well.
Any other final questions come in? Seeing as we're now 7 o'clock, time to
They're all good.
change the course. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for all the questions.
Thanks, guys.
It's good to be back on. I'll have another victim on with me next week. But thank you to
Slightly
Jasper for stepping in.
Very, very
it's
welcome.
a long day in the workshop today, so nice to get out
All
here.
good, yeah.
But,
It's been good.
what have we got coming up? Well, Wimbledon. Wimbledon started.
Yeah,
Not
just round the
golf,
corner.
but and one major left. Got the Open left in a couple of weeks' time. So good luck to the guys that we know doing final qualifying for that. I think that's tomorrow. So we'll find out who's in and who's not in shortly. But
It's always nice when you get sort of like a local guy you can follow, or local guy, sort of a bit of underdog who fights his way through the qualifying, isn't it?
yeah, it's
Fantastic.
tough going to get through that now.
Yeah,
but,
it's tough. Got some good players there as well. Jesus, pretty good players that turn up.
tough school.
Yeah, very.
So enjoy your week. Hopefully we've got some nice weather here. Wimbledon's not going to be rain delayed, which means everyone over the UK can get out on the golf course and enjoy some nice, not so hot weather. Enjoy that. We've got our World Cup knockout round on Wednesday, so there's lots of sport going on at the moment. Enjoy all of that. We'll see you next Monday at 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching.
See you soon.